ABC 10 News at 7 starts now.
Californians won't be required to wear face masks after June 15th, the same day most coronavirus restrictions will be lifted. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Azevedo shows us what the county says must happen before we drop the mask mandate here.
As long as the case rate remains low, county officials said we will likely fall in line with the state guidance. Governor Gavin Newsom said after June 15th, face masks would not be required except for things like large-scale indoor convention events. Dr. Wilma Wooten said this news today gives the entire state hope, also announcing that our daily case count today was under 100 for the first time in more than a year. Business owners say as long as health officials think it's safe, getting rid of the masks is a good sign.
For me as a business owner, that's one less of a hurdle that staff have to wear. Especially imagine in warm kitchens, wearing a face mask is not exactly pleasant. So that comes as very refreshing news to me.
So again, county officials say this decision will be based on our case rate come June 15th. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Children 12 to 15 years old can start getting the Pfizer vaccine as soon as tomorrow. The CDC signed off on it today. ABC 10 News reporter Rena Nakano explains what that means for the 175,000 teens and preteens in San Diego County.
Just 2 days after the FDA expanded Pfizer's emergency use authorization, or EUA, of the COVID-19 vaccine to include 12 to 15-year-olds, the CDC also gave it the green light.
The gates are wide open for everybody, all states and all communities, to start immunizing their adolescents between 12 and 15 years of age.
Local pediatrician Dr. Mark Sawyer has served on the CDC recommendation board for other vaccines in the past. He says once the FDA authorizes its use, the CDC advisors are the ones to recommend how it's used.
The dose for 12-year-olds is exactly the same as for 50-year-olds.
The CDC advisors also addressed where the COVID-19 vaccine stands in terms of required back-to-school immunizations.
Should they get the COVID vaccine before meningitis, or can they get it all at the same time?
We're not seeing any unusual reactions, and as a result, they said now we can start giving the vaccines either together with other vaccines on the same day or close together.
San Diego County expects to begin vaccinating kids in this age group Thursday morning, as does Rady Children's and UCSD Health. Parent consent is required.
Minors will have to show some proof of eligibility, just a birth certificate, a school ID.
Experts believe this expansion of the vaccine is the first of many to come.
Do you anticipate that the FDA may be expanding it even more so to children even younger?
Yes, absolutely. I do expect those trials to come forward in the next few months. And so by fall or at least winter, I think we may be immunizing young children as well.
Rena Nakano, ABC 10 News.
CVS and Ralph's will also offer the Pfizer vaccine to 12 to 15-year-olds starting tomorrow. The shots will be available via walk-ins or appointments. A parent or a guardian must be present while the shot is being given.
All right, as we mentioned, the county reported just 94 new cases today. The first time in more than a year we've had fewer than 100 in one day. Our test positivity rate held at 1%. 4 more San Diegans did lose their lives to COVID. That brings that number to just over 3,700. Family Health Centers of San Diego is expanding access to COVID-19 therapy that reduces the severity of the virus. The monoclonal antibody treatment is simple and it's fast, requiring just one visit to deliver proteins that attack the virus.
It takes about 30 minutes to infuse, and we observe for about an hour just to ensure that there's no allergic reactions that the patients will be experiencing. And if they do, we're prepared for that.
And since December, around 250 people have come in for the treatment at the Family Health Centers in Chula Vista and Hillcrest, but they can handle a lot more, and it's even being offered free for those with no insurance. Palomar Health and San Ysidro Health are also offering the treatment. You can stay on top of any new developments with coronavirus by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in the App Store.
Crews are still mopping up from a brush fire that burned next to the freeway this afternoon in Lakeside. It started about 3:30 by eastbound 8 and Los Coches Road. Firefighters responded quickly, but an evacuation warning was temporarily put into effect. The fire was mostly knocked down by about 5 o'clock. It burned almost 30 acres. No one was hurt. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
Former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer wants to eliminate state income taxes for households making up to $100,000 a year. At a campaign stop in LA today, Faulconer also said he wants to cut taxes for everyone making less than $1 million.
California has the highest income taxes, the highest gas taxes, and the highest supplemental poverty rate in the United States. And we know that this is having a terrible impact on California families.
Of course, any tax cuts would require approval from the Democratic-led legislature. Faulconer is one of a number of Republicans running in the expected recall election against Governor Gavin Newsom. And fellow GOP candidate John Cox may be in hot water for bringing a bear to his campaign stop in San Diego yesterday. Tag the Bear accompanies Cox at his events. The Humane Society is now investigating whether that broke the city code, which bans bears from being brought into San Diego. There are exceptions, such as a legally operated zoo, but the Humane Society's chief of humane law enforcement says that doesn't apply here.
It doesn't matter how well trained they are, where they're from, whether they've been involved in the movie industry or not. The municipal code just does not allow for this to happen.
And the matter will be turned over to the city attorney's office. A spokesperson for the Cox campaign says, quote, every care was taken to ensure Tag's comfort and safety with the approval of several government agencies.
Police are investigating the death of a man outside a University Heights McDonald's. Officers responding to the sound of gunshots found an injured man in the parking lot of the McDonald's on El Cajon Boulevard and Texas Street this morning. He later died at the hospital. The suspect, whose description is vague, was seen driving off in a white SUV. Anyone with information is asked to call police or Crime Stoppers.
We are hearing more from the husband of the Chula Vista mother who has not been seen since January the 7th. Larry Miliete is accused of possessing illegal and unregistered firearms. And he tells ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala he has searched for his wife.
Family, friends, even strangers have turned up to search for Maya Miliete every week for months now. And many have wondered why her husband Larry Miliete hasn't joined those searches. In an ongoing conversation with ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty, Larry sent the following. Unlike the search parties, I visited likely places she would visit, but to no avail. Wishful thinking, I guess. I rely mostly on the authorities because they are the subject matter experts and have dealt with these situations before. At this point, the Chula Vista Police Department hasn't publicly named a person of interest or any suspects in Maya's disappearance on January 7th. They've been sending investigative updates every 2 weeks and say they're working with the DA, the FBI, and NCIS. On Friday, a second search warrant was served at the Miliete home. Investigators leaving with boxes but staying tight-lipped about what they took. Days before that, a temporary gun violence restraining order was issued to Larry. Documents show he owned 8 registered and 14 unregistered firearms. The order describes 2 photos of the Miliete's kitchen table full of guns, high-capacity magazines, U.S. passports, and ammo. It describes one of the photos showing the Miliete's 4-year-old son standing on the table surrounded by the guns. The order says the boy had immediate access to the illegal assault weapons and the 14 other firearms and ammunition, creating a potential extreme danger to the child. Larry states that none of the firearms were loaded and my son was not in any danger, also adding, all my firearms were purchased legally and all went through the 10-day waiting period as per California law. How else would they have a list of all my firearms if they were not registered? Doesn't make any sense. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Chula Vista police say they will update the investigation a week from today.
2 people are recovering tonight after crashing into a popular La Jolla restaurant. An SUV slammed into Harry's Coffee Shop on Girard this morning. The fire department says the elderly driver mistook the gas for the brake and crashed into the back bathroom. A woman had been in there just moments earlier.
So she was like 2 seconds safe from something really bad happened here.
The couple in the SUV were taken to the hospital as a precaution. A dishwasher got hit by a sink but was only bruised, and Harry's, which has been at this location since 1960, will have to close for at least a day or two so it can be inspected.